Thanks to everyone listening and those who have listened to my commentary before and came back. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and everyone who left comments. I appreciate the comments, and although I will use cuss words occasionally on the commentary, I ask that you use discretion when you want to leave cuss words on a comment. Be respectful. Don't be a clown or name call someone if you disagree with someone else's comment. I hope you continue to find good stuff here and we grow together. One of my favorite quotes by Neely Fuller Jr. is, "Black people don't need to be in contact with each other unless they're talking about something constructive." I love this because it helps me stay focused. Sometimes we get into such fruitless conversation, especially when it comes to fixing our circumstances. There's a lot of blame that they like to get into the blame conversation. They want to blame the black man for the oppression, blame the black woman, colorism, interracial marriage, single mothers, black on black crime. They blame all of this for white dominance, but what they're really saying is that black people are the problem and they need to be fixed. I think one of the reasons why these talking points are so common and people beat them to death is because many people are misinformed about the true state of our condition as a group. And also because many people don't know what has to be done to fight it. I know I was there. I remember when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin. I had this idea like, yeah, every black person, we need to demand that Skittles are not in our stores. Don't go to the stores and buy Skittles. I mean, I can laugh at it and now it's so ridiculous, but I was so serious with this. And I would say this, like, if we just stop buying, and the reason why I was so mad at Skittles was because I was like, this kid went to the store for Skittles. We keep hearing Skittles. I'm seeing people hold up signs for Skittles, and I never heard the Skittles Corporation come out and apologize. Like, not that it was their fault, but to just give condolences to the family. And I have seen this done when victims of other races, nationalities this has happened to. So I was saying, how come they didn't do this? They just haven't. We need to show that people have to respect us. But this is what happens when you really just don't know. That's why it's good to get around people outside of your group sometimes, or just to always seek more knowledge. Don't just be so happy hearing things and then thinking that you can speak on it. Get more information, get more knowledge, get around people that want to have plans. If these discussions are not leading to solutions about what we're going to do about the socioeconomic disadvantage that black people have, then it's not constructive conversation, because that's our biggest problem. Finding out that black people being at the bottom of the barrel on a political level, that didn't surprise me because you see it when you look around. Because I saw more black people on TV than I did when I was a child, black people being elevated to high-level positions and some cultural assimilation, I didn't think that as a group we were at the bottom of the barrel on an economical and social level. I thought black people that had money were doing it, and if I was fly across the board, that meant I won. I thought millionaires, like millionaire black folks, meant black people's economic power was increasing and therefore our social status was increasing. I didn't understand that economic power and political power go together. And I don't think most black people really understand that or realize how much the system economically victimizes black people. Because if they did, black people wouldn't be running around buying stupid shit. I know Louis Vuitton, Bergdorf Goodman, Hennessy would have never got so much of my money. We wouldn't put so much emphasis on our kids dressing fly and teach them it's all about the labels. You have little black kids. They're the main kids to rag on one another about what they're wearing and enforce. It's just enforcing to other kids like your gear needs to be tight. That's a priority. Your gear and your hair. I had a dude tell me that black people's biggest problem is the church. That's another one people like to blame. He's like, the Bible is the white man's religion. There's no way you'll be free of your oppressor by buying into his religion. And the black preachers have led us to our destruction. I felt he was attaching the wrong God to white supremacy and saying the white supremacist God is money. That's the God they teach you to worship. That's the God that they use to oppress you. Why are you blaming the church for the absence of black power when it's white supremacy that manufactures the wealth gap? Even though the white man used the Bible to shape the minds of slaves and enforce a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man named Jesus as God, that doesn't negate that it is a book filled with tools for empowerment and freedom. You can't discredit someone who reads it as being brainwashed by religion or incapable of fighting white supremacy. I say it's not about religion because I'm not religious. I don't belong to a religion or church, yet I use the principles in that Bible to get stronger, more confident, and in control of my life. Reading the Bible confirmed it is my duty to stand against injustice. If anything, it's the lack of understanding of the Bible that keeps people oppressed. I wasn't pushing for religion, or I wasn't pushing the Bible. My thing was, your theory that anyone who reads the Bible can't be instrumental in black empowerment is wrong, and kick rocks with that. That was what my argument was about. We're talking about what gets in the way of black empowerment, and it's definitely not the Bible or the church. I mean, there can be some factors that get people confused, but that's not what's holding us back from empowerment. Anyway, from my point of view, you cannot be an instrument for black empowerment because your life is about hustling for your comfort, thrills, and toys. So ending the abuse of black people gets pushed to the black burner. You're a black person worshiping the white supremacist God and cooperating in the trickery. He said I was crazy to think it's okay for preachers to ask their congregation for money and especially to buy jets. And that's why he can't talk to anyone that reads that book because they are too brainwashed to see anything else. I never understand why people have a problem with preachers getting money for presenting information. And they don't get mad at people like Tony Robbins for charging thousands of dollars to come to one of their seminars where he just presents information. And this same dude told me that gossip bloggers on YouTube should get money from their audience because they're putting in work. They're doing work to prepare their info. So I'm saying, so why shouldn't preachers get money from their audience? They're putting in work when they write a sermon to present to their people. So it's hypocrisy. I never can understand when people just have this problem with preachers getting money, but you don't have problems going to pay to hear somebody sing a song, or you don't have problems paying, or you don't have problems with the drug dealer getting money for, it's just so many different things you have problems with. Nobody else getting money in ways that sometimes really don't even make sense. Well, when I say don't make sense, I'm saying that are not that are destructive, getting money in destructive ways. So I never can jump on that bandwagon of don't give preachers money. That is just ridiculous to me. That's their hustle. That's their hustle. And when I say hustle, I'm not even saying hustle like they're conning you or doing anything like that. Anyway, silence is golden, and sometimes it's better to be silent than respond to ignorance. When he started raising his voice, that should have been my cue to go soft. Instead, I was going harder because I felt he was closing his ears to what I was saying. I was annoyed because he has so much to say about how useless the Bible is without ever reading it. Had I got in touch with what I was really thinking, I would have probably just kept my mouth closed and laughed. This was one of those times it would have served me better to just be silent. I knew he was talking oranges, I was talking apples. But my ego was saying, fall the fuck back. Don't act like I ain't game you up before. You should be listening to me. So that's how I ended up in a screaming match. Something that I'm determined to break away from. So I was disappointed with myself. Yelling when making a point is pointless because people stop listening when you yell. That's why yelling at kids doesn't work. Had I been in tune with my biblical knowledge, I would have remembered the one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. That's in Proverbs somewhere. He felt there was no overcoming white supremacy. He definitely didn't have the capability to do anything about it. He had no strategy. He was just talking a lot of bull. He had to have something to blame. And since he had no use for the Bible was the perfect scapegoat because he could say, yeah, well, I'm not contributing to us being oppressed because I don't mess with that stuff right there, And this is just as crazy as women who blame women for saying, I'm an independent black woman. Or not just women. Some men blame women that call themselves independent too. That's the problem. Women want to be independent, what I'll say about that is that being independent is a misuse of the word when describing oneself, but it doesn't make you the problem. Society sells independence as being ideal, which isn't a reality because our survival depends on others from the time we are born. We all need help at some time. That's why we have to choose people that can help us survive. Black people's survival depends on black people. Inclusion is an illusion. Black people are a nation in a nation. We have to be around the right type of black people. That's very important. Get around people that can help you grow. Get away from people who just want to consume, because having economic power will be impossible. We have to choose people who can help us survive. That is why I agree black people who are traitors to black society need to be called out. It's vital that we recognize who is not on the team and stop assuming someone is on the team just because they identify as black. Black people who accept racism by saying that's just how it is, but I'm living good, and black people that deny racism because they are doing good or want points from white society, they've already betrayed themselves. You can't expect loyalty from them. To me, to be clothed in brown skin and to be upstanding means it's your duty to face the injustice being done to black people and be moved to right it, not accept the mistreatment because you get some monetary benefit. That is what selling your soul looks like to me. I had to re-examine people I thought were about it. By about it, I mean being about black people rising, about being loyal to your people, not using black people to sell your product, then shitting on them, not pretend speaking for the advancement of black people, but really not giving a fuck, Miss Oprah Winfrey. We need to stop supporting people that don't support us. Shout out to Levi for Kelly for addressing Master P. I put a link to Levi for Kelly in the description where he calls out DL Hugley sneak dissing Nipsey Hussle. I recommend you listen to it because it is a conversation worth having or worth listening to. He calls out the type of thinking that keeps us sinking. I'm going to play some audio of more thinking that keeps us sinking. This is the hairdresser. She's a reality show hairdresser, and she's on her Instagram live talking to a guest, and the guest is trying to explain to her that she has a huge platform and she should use her platform more responsibly. So here it is, and I'll come back and say something afterwards.
Black and white. Yeah. First of all, you said it's all these black people killing each other, all this black on black crime. I want you to stop using that term because that term was created by the Europeans to misappropriate what's going on. Crime happens in communities when people are near each other. If I'm a black person, I likely live by black people. So if I commit a crime, I'm likely gonna do it to the people. Same with white, same with Indian, same with Chinese. Right. Furthermore than that, to say black people is fucked up. They are. Come on now, why? They are. Why are black people fucked up? Is it because of the psychological? Is it the psychological warfare that has came against us for the last 400 years? That ain't got nothing to do with it. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Come on now, bro. You got 4,000 people on your live right now. You got 4,000 people on your live right now, and you got this miseducation going on. And it's really people that's believing the shit that you talking. I ain't got nothing but mad respect from you, but you need to go read some books, baby girl. You need to go read some books. You need to go read the Willie Lynch letter and how they talking about you ain't just and all. She went all the way up. I know. Y'all don't lie. And if y'all hate me for my opinion, it's okay. It's okay for us to agree to disagree. There's no problem with that, okay? So let's agree to disagree. Here's why I am with it. I've never, ever, ever, ever been in slavery. Okay? I don't know what it feels like to be in slavery, okay? I do know what it feels like to be shitted on by people shitted on. It's about for real. I know what it feels like for people the same color as I am to hate on you, to want you to fall, to want you to be miserable, speak bad things upon your life. I understand she was trying to grow up, but she was disrespecting me and she gotta go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going for this. This is my line, like I told y'all. Y'all can get off. I don't give a fuck if there's one person on here. I'm still gonna talk my mind. I have watched all this happen in my life. Okay? Like I said again, I've never been enslaved. Okay, so since y'all feel like the lynch shit still going on, why the hell y'all still carrying on like that? What is it? The lynch? What is it called? Oh, like lynching? No, nigga, the what is the nigga name? Willie Lynch. If you feel like Willie Lynch is still going on, why do y'all continue to still act the way y'all act? If it's still going on, and y'all feel like this was put here for us, why haven't you all made a step to change? Y'all telling me about I'm not blind on shit. You motherfucking blind. And y'all keep using this weak ass excuse and that shit ain't cool with me. I've never lived in slavery. I'm going to say it again. I never lived in slavery. But I have been to some of these countries and seen poverty. But I ain't lived in slavery. And I ain't lived in poverty either. See? So a lot of y'all folks out here in the United States of America, y'all don't get this shit for real. When you go to third world countries, oh, excuse me, you probably ain't never been there. Some of y'all ain't got your motherfucking passport. Hello. But like I said, yeah, I got a passport, honey. And damn near everything I want in life. Okay? Like I said, how come when you go to, you can say whatever you want to say, baby. I'm going to keep my opinions on how I'm keeping. You keep yours the way you do. Okay? So when we go to third world countries, then you get to see how those people live. It'll make you come back to the United States and appreciate life. Right? But y'all don't travel really too much out of the country to see what's going on.
I was listening to this just thinking this is sad. I thought about Harriet Tubman saying she could have freed more if they just knew they were slaves. What's sad is because this hairdresser doesn't know what systematic racism is, she's telling the world it doesn't exist and black folks are the problem. When you deny racism, you empower the racist. She has no love for black people, and like the racist, she has no problem using black people to secure a bag and then regard them as having little worth. She has 3 million followers that she told black people ain't shit. You heard her. This is what successful social engineering on the part of white supremacy looks like. It makes you complicit in your oppression. You don't identify with yourself, you identify with your master. You walk away thinking black isn't good enough, and it makes many black people uncomfortable in their own skin. It's designed for you to be incapable of thinking, just obeying. It's a battle for the mind, and she's losing. You know the saying, some people are so far behind in the race they think they're winning. You have many black people like her. They think they can consume their way to equality. You will never have economic power hanging with people who just want to consume. They don't see themselves as slaves because they think that their class separates them from the plantation practices that are still being carried out today. Black people getting murdered and their killers walking free. We just saw a woman attacked by a white man who goes unpunished while she gets charged with a felony for what appears to be some shit he started. A college student just got 12 years in jail for kissing a white girl. This is 2019. Almost every week, if not every week, we see cops beating the daylights out of someone or harassing them for no other reason than they can do it and get away with it. Pay attention to the people your kids are looking up to and taking direction from. Who are they watching? Who are our Aretha Franklins and Lena Hornes of today? I'm not saying we don't have any. I'm just asking, who are they? Who comes to mind when you think of black female artists or entertainers that are truly doing something to move black people forward or about empowerment or doing something for the people, period, and prove it by using their own money to do it? There's not many celebrities like Nipsey Hussle, Muhammad Ali, Dick Gregory. They were unapologetic for who they are, comfortable in their own skin, and were true to the game. They put their money where their mouth was. All of them died with dignity and didn't sell out for a check. We need to be enthusiastic about supporting black people, doing it for black people. Those that are committed to serving black people's needs, creating jobs, entertainment, and the opportunity. break away from media that serves the system so we can protect the future generations from being conditioned to falling in line with their programming, because all it does is disqualify them for the revolution. This goes back to choosing people to help you survive. People that refuse to break away from the media that is designed to hurt them for the sake of entertainment are not serious about rising. People choosing the love and hip hop shows, Game of Thrones, NFL, football, CNN, or whatever entertainment controlled by the propaganda arm of white supremacy, they're weak links. For one, pacifying themselves takes priority over building a nation. For two, they are subjecting themselves to be programmed by the enemy. The purpose of media is to push an agenda and promote a particular value system. That is why mainstream media exalts and rewards black people acting ignorant or doing their bidding. I talk about this in Mute Messy Media. I'm going to put the link in the description. We don't need people whose speech is designed by the enemy speaking for the team. The propaganda arm of white supremacy is there to dumb you down so you lose the ability to think, rise up, and revolt. We need to recognize that there are loads of black people that are really not with us and stop trying to drag these type of people with us. This reminds me of one of the people commenting on one of the commentaries I did on the injustice being done to R. Kelly. She's a perfect example of being dumbed down. She kept mentioning things that had nothing to do with anything. She kept passing her opinion off as fact. The only fact that she had straight was he married Aaliyah, which she thought was evidence of him being guilty of the accusations against him. So she kept pushing that. And then she's accusing people of victim shaming, and because that's the terminology that she picked up from the media. Those women are not victims. Like R. Kelly's former nutritionist, Sharon Whitlock, said, these women are not proven to be victims. They're women telling their story. So we shouldn't be calling them victims. And she's absolutely right. But non-thinkers repeat without understanding and talk without purpose. So she thought by asking me, is it true that R. Kelly married Aaliyah? That would prove something. So she's like, answer. Maybe she just wanted to be right about something. I don't know. She's demanding I answer her question. I had to just disengage because only a fool spends so much time talking to fools. I'm talking to her about illegally convicting somebody of a crime and how that's injustice. And I'm talking about what the media is doing. And she's so steady trying to talk about, we can't let him do this to girls. I mean, the conversation, it went on long. It went on longer than it needed to. So I just had to disengage. At that point, it was like no more answering her. And that's just that. I try to answer all the comments, but some people, you just have to realize, okay, let's end it. Like me with the guy I was talking to. It's always a learning experience. So anyway, let's disassociate with people who say or believe black people will always tear each other down, or that we could never get from under white supremacy, or that black people ain't shit. Those type of attitudes, let's disassociate from them. If a person can't go where you're destined to go, loving detachment is necessary. Stop giving a lot of time to them who can't go where you're going. You can't take a jackass to the Kentucky Derby. Take it in and win. Thanks for listening.